Good day, everyone. I wanted to make a video to address a current topic on the Suggestions Forum about changing from a room defines platform system to one that has one overall definition for platform, floor, ceiling, that's based on the story pole and isn't controlled on a room by room basis. So I wanted to just give an example of my thoughts about how this would work and what I see as being the solution that's already within Chief's capabilities, as well as the problems that arise from the current system. Starting here, I've just drawn a couple separate buildings divided into two rooms just to demonstrate the basics of what we're talking about, just to make sure we're all on the same page. This building at the top, I've drawn traditionally the way that Chief intends you to draw it. Each of these rooms are separate spaces with separate controls over the platform. So I can raise this floor up 24 inches, and this platform is still going to be at 0 inches. And looking at it in the camera, you can see how that works. This room down here, we've done, as you can see, my dimensions are really weird there. That's going to reveal what I've done here in a second. I've used double walls and I've split the exterior wall into two different walls just to create the function that I want to demonstrate that I think Chief should have. If they were to implement this, it wouldn't use this sort of workaround method. It would just be built into the system. But I've turned off the Connect Island Rooms feature or setting, so that I've got a main room for the outside perimeter, and I've got two inner rooms that are contained within the interior wall of the exterior split wall. So in these two interior rooms, I don't think I've set it up yet. I'm turning the roof, ceiling, and floor off just to demonstrate the way I think Chief should really work. Take a cross section through this building. You can see we have one floor platform, a ceiling level defined. The framing's split just because of the walls that I've done, but that would just be a single framing layer. So here I can select the entire room or the entire floor, or I can tab to select each room. And I think if Chief was to implement this improvement, I would think you would select the rooms first and then tab to the floor. So tabbing the floor, I can actually set the structure, and based on all the defaults I've set up here, floor defaults, they should be showing up as they are, and they're all selected as defaults. I can raise this floor by 12 inches, have an 84-inch ceiling, and if I take a cross section, we can see that in fact the floor under the entire structure has raised, not just the one room, which is what we want. We as in me and some people who share the sentiment. And we have a 7-foot ceiling. So that's just a demonstration about how it should work. Inside the rooms, we then wouldn't have all these absolute and relative heights for floors and ceilings. That would be locked to the overall floor. I guess essentially you look at it, the floor itself would be a higher order room that contains all the rooms inside it, and instead of setting room features, it sets floor and ceiling, wall height features, etc. Yeah, so you're really just splitting the functions out of the room into this floor. So you would create a floor, and I'm not talking about the levels in Chief as far as going up or down. You create a floor with walls that are set to a specific setting. So right now we have options that say no room definition, and the function of setting no room definition. So if I look over here, I take this wall and I set no room definition. Now I can select this entire floor, and I can raise the floor or lower it, ceiling heights as well, of all this space. But I have no room definitions. I don't have schedules for that room. I don't have specific room finishes or other features that the room dividing into rooms gives us. So what I'm proposing is that in the wall, the functions of this option are split into two settings. One would be no room definition, so that if I have a room, say like a master bathroom, and I have walls that enclose a toilet, typically I'm going to have the walls enclosing the toilet to be no room definition, because that space is all part of the master bathroom. So in the schedule, I want all of that space to be under the master bathroom. But then another option that says define no floor definition. So it's not used to define a transition in floor platform from a lower level to a higher level on the same floor. This could get a little bit, we go into the weeds a bit about how that could work with ceilings separately too, divide that out. I think we do need separate controls for that, and I think we also do need tools where we could set those. We can set a region of the floor ceiling to go higher and lower. That doesn't need to be defined by walls, but that's a little bit more nuanced to flesh out, and I'm not going to get too far into it here. So hopefully I've stayed pretty clear up to this point about what I'm trying to demonstrate. Essentially, yeah, that interior walls should not define a floor platform. That a floor on a floor level should be set by specific walls that are indicated that they create the floor itself. So if you had, say, a garage here, those walls would have their own setting. If it was a split level, this wall would then have the setting defines floor, or if it was laid out the same as this, it would be no room definition, no floor definition. So the default for interior walls would be no floor definition, and then if an interior wall was defining a split level, if in this case, you would deselect the no floor definition, and that gives you then two sides. The two sides of that wall, or series of walls that divides the floor into a split level. So you have now two floors on the floor level to adjust and control individually, instead of every individual room that has a chance to stray outside if the rooms below and above are doing certain things, and Chief tries to balance everything and it just gets crazy. And I'm going to demonstrate how that can be in a minute. So I've pulled up a plan that's a recent one of mine that I completed, and I had this issue with it when the builder asked me to change the top of the foundation wall from a floor being framed over it to the floor butting up to it. And it included changing the foundation wall height, which was lowering the floor. Created a lot of issues. I'm going to demonstrate this problem a little bit differently, how every room controlling its own floor platform creates a lot of a mess when something is changed about the floor defaults as far as the elevations, the structure, where it gets its floor from the floor below, and show what that's like. And then I have the same plan. So this is the plan I'm going to demonstrate with, and I have the same plan set up the same way I have this example with the double walls and basically the island room, to demonstrate the ease of the proposed feature and how it would make our lives a lot easier when we have to change widespread settings. So this builder requested this change near the end of the project. So I had all the construction drawings complete and highly fleshed out, as you see them here. I wasn't going to rebuild the foundation. I don't know that would have helped too much anyway. But I just basically had to start working with defaults and get everything set accordingly. Now, there are some order of operations that make it harder or easier depending if you're aware of them. But they only have a somewhat of an impact on solving these issues. So I'm going to get into it, and I'm not going to optimize my order of operations because I want to show how they complicate the mess. So in this example, what I'm going to demonstrate is, let's say that the builder called me and said, you know what, we excavated the site. We expected to find load-bearing soil relatively close to the basement floor height, but we actually had to dig down 6 feet to get to load-bearing soil. So instead of going with the slab floor, we're going to do a 6-foot crawl space below the basement level. And this is a walkout basement, as you can see here. So I'm going to go with demonstrate if the builder had asked for a 6-foot crawl space under the basement floor. Instead of bringing in all that structural fill and all the costs, we're just going to utilize that space, get some storage, So let's see what I have to do. Now, you might have noticed that on floor 0, this is just a foundation and footing plan. On floor 1 is my basement. I do this because it helps me send foundation and main floor to, foundation and basement plan to the layout with the same layer set. There's some other things that the main reason I do this is because if in the example I'm giving, the builder asks for a crawl space instead of a slab, I don't have to create a new floor and then shift everything up to put a crawl space below my basement. So it's ready to go, because if I had to do that, then that's an entirely enormous amount of extra work above what I'm actually going to demonstrate here. So that's the reasons I do it. It might not be a popular method. It works for me. There's some challenges with it that I have a pretty good handle on. But let's go. Let's start creating this crawl space. So I'm going to go into the defaults here, and I'm going to set up defaults for this floor. And we are going to do, what do we need to do? He wants a 7-foot wall, a 6-foot wall. So 72-inch stem wall. Room supplies, we're no longer going to be supplying a slab floor from this floor for the floor above, so I'm going to uncheck that. Now, the first thing that bothers me about this, and this is the order of operations, I could have done this a different way to make it sleeker. It doesn't make sense for this floor to be up high anymore. When I check that, that should really go down to the footing. Now I'm using X10. Maybe this has changed a little bit. I don't know, but I just wanted to point that out. Also, my stem wall height has changed. Why did that change? It should have stayed the same. Maybe there can be some blocks. I don't know. I haven't kept up too much with the newer releases. Maybe there are. In fact, I'm pretty sure there probably are. So I still got to do some tweaking to get this where I want it. So I need that slab down at the footing, and I need the stem wall at 72 inches. So I'm going to, this is typically what I do, is I put the floor down, say 200 inches, and then go back up 72 inches of the stem wall, and that pushes the floor up to where it needs to be. I'd like it if we had maybe a button here that said drop to top of footing or something, so that I didn't have to go through that 2-step process. That'd be nice. Now, the floor is going to be a 2-inch skim coat. So again, order of operations. Now the slab is sitting high. Maybe it'd be nice if we had a lock top or bottom like we do in the room dialog box. So now I've got to drop it minus 70. Okay. And there's some other issues that are going to come up. Order of operations again. Now, first thing you'll notice is that I have all these door cutouts in my foundation, and the first thing I suspect when seeing that is that the rooms above are still trying to use this floor as their floor, and it's kind of an annoyance. I really think that setting for supplying floor should only be on the lower floor. It shouldn't be on both, because you have to then go through both to unselect them. But anyway, I'm going to ignore that for now. I'm just going to go up to the basement level, and I'm going to change my defaults. So floor level is going to be 0. Floor supplied by is off. Now floor structure, I need to set that to default, which is 10 inches. So that's all the defaults changed the way I want to. 105.5 is the ceiling height. I'm not going to worry too much about that. That's based on the floor above. It's not really critical to what I'm trying to demonstrate here. We'll go with that. Now, order of operations again. When I go back down to the basement, I'll realize that my settings here changed. I no longer have a 72-inch wall. It's 66 because the floor changed. Now, I got to look at a couple things. Do we want these walls to be hang floor platform above on a wall? Realistically, I think Chief just sort of butts the floor into that because it's all concrete. Kind of losing my voice. The floor is still down here. We don't have a floor drawn up here yet. So I've actually got a lot of things to fix here before we get too far into that. Sorry guys, my voice is getting all scratchy. So we're going to investigate the main floor, or the basement floor level here for a sec. I'm going to open this bedroom. And what do we got? So we're following all the defaults, except we still have this selected. So we're going to deselect that. Now we're off the defaults. So now I can't get all the defaults to activate because Chief is trying to balance a whole bunch of stuff with all these little rooms that aren't the same, and it's trying to find the best solution. So typically what I'm going to do is I have this nice little layer set just for working with rooms, and I'm just going to shut off all my framing to just get that out of the way. This is just handy for working with all these spaces. Open up this room again. I've got, first thing I'm going to do is get all the rooms to be not taking the floor from below. So I'm going to turn them all to has floor, so applied is false. And just copy over to all these rooms. And bear with me because this takes some time, and this is what I'm doing in the middle of a project to get this all set up. Get these all good. Okay. Now I'm going to go down to this level, just see what we're looking at here. So, wow, that did something. So now I have a 4-inch stem wall. Now, again, order of operations and settings, I just remembered that it'd be helpful if I went to my foundation and changed a few things. We're going to set that to 2. What else do we want to change? Stem walls. I'm going to go 72. I don't think that's going to do much. Yeah, so it didn't really change there. I'm just going to double check my defaults. Yeah, 72. This should be 72. Minus 270. 72. You know, if you guys see anything I'm doing that you're scratching your head saying, why the heck are you doing it that way? Go ahead and let me know. I mean, I'm open to learning new things or seeing where I'm doing something the dumb way. But I think I'm still going to be able to demonstrate some frustrations with just how these, how floors defined on a room level is it's just too, it needs to be defined on a higher order, not down to the room. So just checked everything there with defaults. I'm just going to try and get these all set to defaults. It looks like we're cooperating now. I don't know why these aren't going to defaults. Not too sure. Oh, we still have a 4-inch slab and it won't go to default. Why won't it go to default? Again, this is what it's like for me live in a project, billing by the hour, trying to sort all this stuff out. So somebody want to explain to me what happened there? Floor 0 defaults. I just decided, because I'd set this to a 2-inch slab. Where is it drawing that 10 inches from? It should be going by the foundation, but why is it going 10? I don't know why that is. Kind of a separate issue. I'm all ears if anyone knows why that's happening, what I did wrong. So again, I went to the room. I'm going to have to manually set this to 2. Set that to 80, and then that all looks the way I want. I got a 72-inch wall below the floor. I'm not going to get too picky on these. I'm just going to, I think what you would really do is, I don't know what you really do in this case. I haven't put too much thought into the actual construction details of it and how high this wall would be, how high the wall above it would be, but this floor would definitely be butting to the inside of the wall. Just going to look at our cross section again. Negative ceiling height. Oh, so that tells me again something isn't happy in chief. We got, what do we got here? Floor is at 80. That's, oh, that was probably a typo on my part. I didn't put the negative sign in. Okay, where are we going here? So everything looks okay there. Except, wait, we're still getting a floor cutout. That's telling me something isn't right. That tells me one of these rooms up here is still... Okay, that's this room. This is a bit of a special room because it has a raised floor. The door, the grade level is above the slab at that level of the building, so that's why that's needed. Okay, set that. See how we're looking. Does this still look okay? Looks okay. How do these look? Is everything following defaults? Is that actually going to be nice to me this time? Okay. So a few things I typically check. I go underneath floor overview just to see if visually everything looks like it's good. It's one way of easily inspecting how everything's set up, and I'm seeing things I don't like. This wall should be coming down around this area. This might be having an impact on it, so I'm just going to remove that. I'm not going to get into explanation of why I have it there. I'm just going to keep it simple, remove that, see if it solves the problem. Nope. It did, but it didn't. The garage is sort of messing with it too. I'm not sure why it does that. Our floor heights all look okay, which is a bit surprising. Commonly, I get a lot more hassle over doing that. Oh, see, this doesn't look right. See, I'll be working and then I'll see these threshold lines on a couple of doors, and that tells me that potentially one of these floors isn't set up properly. So what do we have here? Floor level 0, minus 80. So this is all according to defaults. This is all according to defaults. What about this? Okay, so I wonder if these just need to be reset. No. Yeah, that has me a little curious. See, when I see this threshold line, a lot of times that it tells me that the floor levels aren't all the same. And it's a pretty accurate indicator. Sometimes it just, the door doesn't just want to redraw properly without the threshold. But I'll still be checking this out to make sure if I see that, because I won't trust that all the floor levels are the same. So I'm just going to do another check. Floor elevation, floor structure, has floor supplied, has floor. I'm just going to make sure everything's the same. Okay, it's the same. Okay, very surprising. I was running this earlier and I did a video and I just wanted to redo how I approached the video, and it was a bit of a disaster. I think my doors are locked, so I wasn't actually opening the door and resetting it. So yeah, in this other video, I was getting a lot more troubles with Chief trying to get this set up. Still don't want to change the threshold. I'm just going to plunk a new door in there, see if it draws properly. Probably will. Yeah, so that's just a case where the door doesn't want to adjust to somewhere in the works. I think when this was the first room I changed, so the doors detected the different level heights. So honestly, that went surprisingly smooth for me. It went it was much easier than the previous video I did that I decided not to post. I was having issues where small rooms were fighting to be at the old settings or retaining old settings. But still, this was a bit of a process. I had to go through and make sure every little room was the same. So what I've done is I've set up the same plan, but I've set it up the way that I did this demonstration here with the double wall, just to sort of create the function of the feature that I think we're all looking for. So as you can see, if I tab out of a room, I get the floor. Go up here, tab out of a room, I get the floor. Tab out, I get the floor in the first tab anyway. First click here. So I want to see, and I actually haven't tried this, so this could fail spectacularly, but I have a hunch that this is going to be a lot faster. And this should demonstrate that Chief has the capability to do what we're asking it to do. It just needs to separate it from other functions, as I talked about earlier. So I'm going to try following the same order of operations I did before, just because I want to compare apples to apples. So what did I do? I said, I said we need a 72-inch wall. We don't want that. So now my floor is way up there. So I got to drop that 200 and then go back to 72. Oh, this needs to be a 2-inch floor. Now we've got to change that to, well, this is weird. Yeah, -73. That's one way of doing it. That's how I did it last time. Then I went up here and went to the defaults and was like, okay. Now, I was doing this in the room, wasn't I? I wasn't doing it in the defaults. No, I did it in the defaults. What's going? Okay, so this we have to do on a room by room basis. See, okay, I just need to open up X15 just so that I know this works the same way there. Where are we here? We open. Just quickly draw a room. Now what am I looking for? Yeah, so the thing about these checkboxes is that the default settings for the floor sets this up when you create a room, but it doesn't control the room after it's created. Because none of these have like a default, use default. They're just static once the room is created. I think that's something that needs to be addressed so that when, see, I just looked at this here. I'm just gonna hit the undo. I've changed the defaults. Let's do what, undo one more time. Where am I at here? I went too far back. I'll just run through this again because I think I'm trying to set it up in a specific way. Let's do 1, 2. And the reason I'm sticking with this poor order of operations is I think this might demonstrate how a user who's not super familiar with Chief might work through things and, really get lost, not understanding what way things work. It still baffles me sometimes why some things affect things in certain ways. Yeah, so you can see in the defaults I've removed this setting, room supplies floor, but this is static. It doesn't follow defaults. It's just once it's set, it's set. So now I'm going in here and I'm just going to set everything to follow defaults. So already it seems to be a lot quicker. We're not quite getting that. I think just make sure going to foundation, sub 2. I don't think that's going to help exactly. See, we're getting that, but the floor isn't right. So we just got to set this floor at 2. So Still a few things that struggling with. Maybe, oops, I just goofed up there. Maybe the newer releases make this a little bit smoother, but that isn't quite the main point. It's the rooms defining walls. Okay, so that's done. We know the rooms above are still. It's really just this area here. So we're going to default. Yeah, floor structure is still sitting at 4. Okay, yeah, because I need to go into these defaults first. Okay, stick with the program rod. Okay, this all looks good. I'm going to say... Okay. So I think I'm just going to check the basement again. So we've lost all our door cutouts, which is good. It's a sign that the floor levels are good. This is all by default. Still wondering about that 2-inch slab thing going on, but this, it looks like it's all by default. Everything above is based on the floor above, which we haven't touched. Let's look at a cross section. Yeah, I mean, all this looks pretty good. Except, what do we got going on here? Okay. I think there's going to be a bit of a problem because some of these individual all the individual rooms that are in the island room still have settings that haven't been adjusted. That's just the limitations I'm working with to make this demonstration. So I'm just going to quickly see, all of those need to change. I don't think I can change that with a group select. Sure. Yeah. So I have these set up. They should be set up with no floor, ceiling, or roof. Just for the purposes of this demonstration. I think I maybe forgot to get them all, or maybe they changed on me when I was working because reasons. Roof, ceiling, floor. Hang on a sec. Texture. Set. So this part wouldn't be part of this new feature. I'm just doing this because it has to be done to demonstrate, to get everything to look right in this section. But maybe my point is my make clear. I don't know. Has roof, has floor, has ceiling, has supplied. So yeah, should have anticipated this problem. Even though they're an island room, they still show up in cross section. They're still influenced by the room below. It's kind of annoying that it didn't make this demonstration much easier, but them having no floor and ceiling platforms for this demonstration actually makes it a bit easier. Yeah, still goofing around. What the heck is going on here? Oh, I know what I didn't do. Didn't close that up again. Just close that so I'm not selecting this main room. Double check, get these back, all the defaults. That's just because I had to mess around with these inner rooms because of limitations. So see, that looks all right. If you take out the time I spent with those island rooms fixing them, because they still, unlike the feature that I think we all really want, they still define their own little rooms and kind of mess with everything. That was a lot quicker. Yeah, I think I didn't set up my demonstration really well. I should have gone through ahead of time and set these individual island rooms up properly. But I think we can go, now that they're set up properly, they all have no floor ceilings. As I see a floor under this room. Has floor. It's possible that's messing with stuff. I don't know. I'm just going to see if I can get this set up. I'm going to pause the video, see if I can change some settings, and get back to you. And I'm back. So I did the setup I should have done ahead of time. All these rooms are now set with no floor, no ceiling, no room supplied, no floor supplied. So they're just there to be rooms. They have all their attributes of a room. They go on the schedules, all that, which is the really important thing, is that we need to be able to just have one floor on this floor level with settings for heights, structure, etc., or two if we got a split level, and we can set that up with how we use this feature in the walls that I've talked about. And then we have rooms with their attributes that we wouldn't have this. We essentially wouldn't have this tab except for the finishes. So I think I worked out the kinks in my demonstration. So what I want to demonstrate now, maybe it's been a couple days. The builder gets back to me and says, you know what, the client doesn't want a crawl space. They just want to bring in fill. They're willing to pay the price. So please change it back to a slab. Okay. So sure, I could go back in archives and grab an earlier version. But you know what? Last couple of days, I did a whole bunch of work on the construction drawings, and I really can't do that because I'd lose all that work. So now I've got to adjust this model again. So in my demonstration of how it could work, how do we do that? Let's go. I'm just going to use a good order of operations here. We got a 4-inch floor slab atop a stem wall. Again, I'm not rebuilding the foundation, but I'm pretty sure that these settings are going to have an impact on my floor defaults. So I'm going to set those. That there, floor is going to be 0, stem wall is 0 or 4. It just fills out the height of the slab. Okay, just check here. Okay, floor supplies, just set our defaults. See, the defaults were all set, except this didn't change when we set the floor defaults, so that's why we had to go in there. Now, why am I getting a 10-inch stem wall? Why did changing the floor affect the defaults? That's weird. Now my floor structure, there's something really weird going on there. I don't know what's going on, Chief, but maybe it's something you've caught and fixed in recent years in later versions, but I don't know, that's just kind of weird. So I should be in this dialog here. Yeah, that's weird. This should be a 4-inch. Concrete slab with a 4-inch stem wall. I don't know why those are all getting messed up. Defaults. Those are weird. We just have to go back up here and set the defaults. Room defaults. 10-inch floor. Or no. Did I leave that on the last one? Okay, it doesn't matter. Stem wall 4. 0. Okay. It's arguing with me there. I don't know why. This is goofy. It might be limitations of how I'm trying to run this demonstration. I don't know. Yeah, it's pushing it down 10 inches, so it's still sort of wanting to have it that 10-inch floor. And I might need to, I think I need to go. These island rooms are wreaking havoc, which wouldn't be a problem with the way I'm proposing this new feature. It's just the limitations of this demonstration. So I'm just going to pause, clean that up, and we'll get back. And I'm back. So I just spent a few minutes cleaning up the mess. These island rooms, because they still, in this demonstration, they still have their own settings. They were fighting with what I was trying to do with these overall rooms. That wouldn't be part of the feature. So the time that I've spent here, not including the time I cut out, is really the speed and ease that I would expect with this tool that I think, or this improved function of Chief that I think it's capable of doing. So we are on the basement level. We have all our defaults. We're following them all, which are set as such. And then on the main level, or the bottom floor, it all looks good. So I'll have to go back and look at the timing after I've finished the video, but that seemed really quick, notwithstanding the goofiness of the island rooms. I hope that demonstrates how much more efficient this would be if this was the way Chief behaved, because now I'm going to go into this example and do the same thing. Wish me luck. God have mercy on my soul. And I'm going to follow order of operations the way I did last time, which is we're going to okay, go there. We're going to go. Yeah, this is what am I doing for? See, that's just wrong. Chief, that's just wrong. What are you doing that for? I hope whatever does that has been fixed already, because that's just blows me away. If that happens, okay. And that was the same thing I was fighting with on the other plan. With those island rooms, just because they shouldn't be there in the feature that I'm wanting. So then I go to this floor, do defaults. You know what? I should have actually. No, I'm doing the right order. Well, the order I did the last one. Forgive my ramblings. Let's go to defaults. So in this floor, we want. So did that change and update with what I did in the floor below, or did I just never change that prior? I have to know. Yeah, so I'm back at the crawl space. Okay, so that changed. Okay. I wasn't aware that it did that, but maybe I was, I don't know. What am I looking at here? Something's not right. 0. I don't know why that didn't line up. Anyway. Maybe I went back too far. Yeah, I went back too far. Done. Okay. So that's expected behavior. I see that now. So it looks right. It's possible that going the other direction, it's a lot smoother. Or maybe not, because these are static settings. They don't follow changes in defaults, which is annoying. I just looked at X10. I don't see any reason, X15. I don't see a reason why that has changed. Maybe it has. I don't know. So again, I'm working on the project, billing by the hour, clock's running, and I got to solve this. So what do I got to do? I'm going to pick one room, and I'm going to make sure that it follows all the new defaults. Is it going to behave? Well, Why has it got a 2-inch floor? That's weird, because I thought I set this at a 4-inch floor. Why is it a... Did I just not... Maybe I just didn't click that button. It's been a long day. What happened here? Maybe because I went in here and then most of the rooms above hadn't been set for supplies floor. It decided to change that back. I don't know. But see, this is the thing. When you're dealing with individual rooms like this and you're trying to get everything right and you're going back and forth, fixing things and things work against you. I don't know how... If somebody knows how this is supposed to be easier and the steps to do it easier, let me know. Please. Developers, let me know. I even forgot what I'm doing right now. So it looks to me like, yeah, floor just got bumped because it still has in its memory that 10-inch floor that we're not using anymore. But these rooms still have it, so it's just fighting. It's fighting everything because these rooms say that the slab has to be 10 inches lower because it's got a 10-inch frame floor here, but this is saying I want the floor up, but the room below is just one room, and it's trying to make everybody happy, but it can't. So I think we got everything set in a way right now where we can transfer all the settings to all the other rooms. So we're going to go has floor supplied, floor structure, floor elevation, stem wall height, stem wall top. For some reason this wall followed suit. I think, I don't know. I don't know why I think that did it. So through this process, click all these rooms. Honestly, I hope you guys don't come back and tell me that I'm just dumb and I'm doing it the hard way, because I'm just wasting my time here. But I really think, in fact, I know I've seen new users struggle with this. I've been using this for 16 years, and guys, come on, I'm sure I would have found an easier way by now. So theoretically, that should have worked, and they're all set properly. I'm just gonna go. We don't need 154 inches of concrete stem wall. Come on. That's what we need. Minus 10. So clearly there's some memory going on or something that's just not set right with a room above, something I missed. What's going on here? Nothing's changed here, which it never should, which is really weird because it did the one time. Threshold line, so something's probably goofy around here. First place I want to look. This all looks right. This all looks... Devs, I hope you're watching this whole thing through, because sometimes this is my work day. Sometimes this is half of my work day fixing this stuff, trying to wrap my head around how this is all supposed to work. Where's my problem? And if I'm struggling to figure this stuff out, what about your new users? What have I got going on here? Like this, there shouldn't be any of these projections below the floor. There shouldn't, but there are. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, okay, so I got a room here that's too low. Okay, so let's go back. This one is probably the culprit here because, yeah, I might have skipped over that one. Special use case, I think I meant to go back to it and I didn't. Which, maybe a bit on me, but I think it's a bit on... I think it's just one of my little idiosyncrasies that makes this whole thing, this whole complex floor set by room thing just blows it out of proportion. So, I mean, that might be the problem. I want to check this room. Yeah, this is all out of whack. This is all sorts of nonsense right here. Still, it's got that 10-inch. Is this, can I? Why not? Why not? What's next? Floor structure. Okay. All right. So everything's got a floor structure is following that. Okay. Floor elevation. Floor elevation. Everyone's at the right floor elevation. What's going on? Guys, seriously, sometimes this is my work day. Like, trying to figure this out. Okay. Like, what am I going to see when I take a section through this? Yeah, okay. See, some of these walls don't look right. Like these, I don't know. I'm going to disregard that one because I know I did some manual editing on this one. But this wall is too low. I mean, yeah, technically as a walkout basement around the front, I would drag the walls down to the frost level. But I'm trying to get these settings correct. I'm trying to make sure everything and actually trust that everything's following the defaults and isn't fighting and remembering things it shouldn't from previous settings. Everything looks good there. Everything looks good. Default. What's this? Is that? See, I think that's my problem, right? Somehow that's boiled into this floor's defaults. I don't know where that came from. I'm going to go back here. I thought I went in here. Slab on top of stem wall. Something's for. Yeah. I mean, do I need to go into the framing defaults? Subfloor for floor 1. You know, there's no floor 0 subfloor framing settings. Why? I can set that to 4 manually. Okay, which, you know, at least I can do that, but I want to trust that I can follow my defaults. They're there for a reason. What's going on here? And I'm thinking that maybe I discovered earlier in this video why that was happening. And for the life of me, I can't remember if I did or not, and if I did, what it might have been. Concrete. Okay. So that was in my default setting. Guys. 4. Okay. Now it's drawn the way I want it. Okay, so the default, I might have beat it over the head enough times with what I want it to make it listen. We'll see. Okay. It's sticking, but that doesn't want to stay with the default, which is concerning because I want to be able to just change the default and that updates. So what's going on up here? What do we have up here? I still don't like seeing these threshold lines. Sometimes, again, the doors just don't update and remove them, but sometimes it tells me that things aren't right. And at the back of at the back and around the side, things don't look right because that wall should be up to the top of the slab because the floor below is creating that slab. Now, I know, again, this isn't really a conventional way of doing this, having, you know, the basement on level 1, but maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, it should really just work. Like, what do we got going on here? So this setting somehow got stuck on -10. And for the life of me, I can't force the settings on floor 0 to force that to obey. So actually that's the stem wall top. So the stem wall top kind of follows the floor top, which is kind of, I mean, yeah. Didn't I go around? Didn't I include that? Maybe what room I selected just didn't have it set right. I'm sure when I did all the features, I did stem wall top 0. I'm absolutely sure of that. Stem wall, because there's probably more than one room. Yeah, there's many rooms. See, I'm absolutely sure, and I'll go back and watch the video and comment if I'm wrong, but I'm absolutely sure when I first updated all the settings of all these rooms, I selected stem wall top and slab stem wall height, which was set at 0 and 4 respectively. And it didn't stick because something else just wasn't right. There was memories of previous settings, or everything had to be changed in a certain order. So, God, how long am I in on this? I should have been setting a timer. I'm just, it's 6:15 on a Thursday. I want to do this video because I've been fighting this for probably as long as I've been using Chief, and it's about time we change this. It's about time the developers change this. See, now that's cooperating. And I always open it again just to make sure something didn't, because when you close it, it talks to the rooms above and they say, oh no, this is what we got going on, and so you got to do this, and for some reason the floor below has to follow the floor above, and nothing can just follow the defaults. What's going on? Yeah. That should be lined up. Let's have a look underneath again. How much time did that take me? Took me away from production. And honestly, again, I will say there's been times I've been fighting with this and it's taken a lot longer. It could be my fatigue, end of the day, late at night, just maybe I'm just like, here's an example, okay? Where sometimes you might have a hard time finding the problem, because we just demonstrated that one room that's not set properly because it just reasons, even though it should have been. I hate these thresholds. They should go. These thresholds just tell me that something isn't right. Oftentimes when you redraw the door, they're gone. Yeah, so it's working right. I just got to redraw the door just so that they don't serve as a visual indicator that I don't trust that the defaults are working. What was I going to say? Okay, so in some plans you can end up with a condition where you've got like 3 walls meeting at an odd angle. Odd angles like this. And lo and behold, this space here is a room. That's a room. It's got floor, ceiling height defaults, and these walls end up, based on your design, they have to be where they are. They have to all come to these nice corners. You can't just pull this back here. If you're paying attention, yeah, you could go, let's split this wall. Where's my hotkey here? I can try and, I can try and get, it's just a tight space with these rooms, how they connect, and it's just, yeah. So if I'm on the ball and I see this, I can set this here as, no room definition. And so now it's part of this bigger room, which is all one room in this case. But let's say I don't catch that, especially if I'm a novice user and I don't really understand that a place that I don't intend to be a room can actually be a room. You saw me fighting with this space over here somewhere where it was still remembering these. Oh, what did I do here? What is this? Get rid of this garbage. Anyone see what happened there? Go away. You saw how I was fighting with, it took me a while to find a room over here that had the floor lowered 10 inches still, and that was bossing around the floor below. As an experienced user, I know how to look for these things. I know how to hunt and I have a good map in my mind about what kind of problems these cause. A novice user isn't going to know that there's a little room here that he doesn't know is there and he didn't intend to be there, and that room could literally be bossing around the floor below. Like, let's say if we go like this, like change that setting, let's see how much that messes us up here. Look at this. Look at that. We have a door cut out. That tells me that this floor got lowered. Right? Ceiling, floor -10. This is going to drive a new user mad. They're going to be calling your help desk. They're going to be going on Chief Talk, and we're going to be pouring through the plans to find that little hole that caused them all that grief. Okay. It's actually, I think it's quite ridiculous that this little room that nobody would really think about as a room can actually have that much power over, and let's say that this is the sort of the condition I had earlier. where it was set properly as has floor supplied, but the floor level was off. So I'm going to be in here trying to fix this, and go back in, and we'll see on that tiny little room, suddenly floor zero's boss, but it wasn't on the other one. And it's really inconsistent that way. Guys, chief architect, developers, we got to get away from this. A single room defines a floor platform. It's you might think that the defaults are boss, but they're not. I've just demonstrated it. There's enough days that I've pulled my hair out over this, trying to get everything to cooperate, trying to find the room that's not being obedient to the defaults or to the way it should be set. I just showed you that by using this select objects match properties and using it to go through, like earlier I went through every relevant setting. Floor, I set floor elevation, floor structure, has floor supplied, has floor, I did stem wall. I did all of these 6 settings, right? All of them here. And I copied across all of them. But then I went back and some of these just fell out of order. Obviously there's coding that's not working the best when it comes to these, but the bigger problem is that these rooms themselves a single room should not have control over the floor structure and the floor elevation and all the floor settings for an entire floor level, for the floor. So hopefully, I don't know if somebody's done a video about this before. I saw another video up on the suggestion that it's around this topic. Maybe they demonstrated this a bit. I think this is, guys, maybe no one's ever showed you this, but this is what it's like to be working with this. I think this video is kind of run long, so I'm going to stop it and post it, and hopefully not have too many people saying I'm doing it the dumb way.